This episode of Joyride is brought to you by High Bank. High Bank is proud to be a Columbus-based distillery. Look for High Bank spirits at your local liquor store and favorite bars around the city. By purchasing High Bank spirits, you're supporting and drinking local. Drink local, drink High Bank.
You're listening to Joyride, a podcast for people who love cars. Now sit back and enjoy the ride.
Welcome, everybody, to Joyride Podcast. I am one host. Pete is over here doing the air drums for some reason. I'm Rob.
And I'm Pete. And I'm doing air drums. Thanks
Pete's
for listening.
in a very good mood today, which is great. I like that, man.
Feel good. Feel strong.
I like the energy.
Yeah. I had some green tea earlier. Ginseng. What have you seen this week that is just got you all kinds of bothered?
So I saw.
Well, you're finding that.
Let
me tell you what I saw. I didn't see anything spectacular. I talked a good friend out of spending good money on a bad car.
Okay.
2001 Jeep Wrangler.
Okay.
$5,000. Red flags all over the place.
Right.
That's cheap.
That's
for a Jeep.
real cheap for it. But it's an old one.
They still, like, if it's anything worth anything,
Right.
That Jeep's probably 7 or 8.
It should be
grand.
7 or 8. That's what I was thinking.
Anywhere else. So
yeah.
We show up, and sure enough, there are, like when people do the what is the
So this is a
this is a real this happened.
This isn't at a dealership. This is a home. This is like for sale by owner type situation.
Friend of ours,
okay,
having lunch. He says, "Hey, lunch is long. We ran long because we don't get to see each other very much, and we have a tendency to go long." And he's like, "I got something." I was like, no problem." Well, he's like, "But you could come." I'm like, "Well, what do you have?" I found this car on Facebook or Craigslist or whatever it was. And he's meeting me in 10 minutes up the street at the park. I'll go with you. I like cars. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So he tells me what it is. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now he's got this thing for Jeeps right now. I think it's a fleeting crush. I think it's.
Listen, Jeeps. They have their diehard owners just like anybody else. I know quite a few people that love their Jeeps.
I know, and I would love to have a Jeep guy on here or girl, whatever.
Sure.
And just argue with them.
Figure out why.
I thought I was a Jeep guy. Like I pined after it. I wanted it. I had for work one time. I had to drive to Detroit.
Okay.
I didn't want to fly to Detroit. So I rented a car.
Why not? The flight to Detroit is like 32 minutes.
I know, but the time
by the time
the terminal
and
you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, sure.
It's
if you can get a nice car,
and I'm a driver.
To do the drive,
I'm a driver, Rob.
Yeah.
I drive.
I get this. I understand. If you can get a nice car. Sure, I'll drive up there.
I tend to rent quite a few cars for work, and so I use the same place most of the time.
So you use a rental car. Could you convince work to like let you do a Turo and rent something more interesting?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't figure in your line of work. You probably have a corporate agreement to go through certain.
It's too difficult to do it. I could do a Turo on my personal card and expense it personally and try to explain that, but no, Enterprise has the business, and
same thing with where I work. Yeah.
But
you get a good deal through there anyway.
Yeah,
Either way, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
So you're with your friend.
I'm with my friend. Well, so I rented a Jeep one time. I was so excited. I had the top off.
Oh,
I mean, Jeep Wrangler to Detroit from here is like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
I think.
Something like that. Depends on how fast you're driving, but yeah, I get your point.
I hated it.
Oh, no.
Worst decision of my life.
So,
Rob, I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating. I will never own a Jeep.
What? Why?
Wrangler specifically.
Yeah.
The ride.
The ride is bad.
Sucked.
Okay.
Terrible. Absolutely awful. The noise. Worse than the ride. Might as well not had a windshield. I mean, it was loud.
Yeah.
loud. The tires were loud. The steering was hard. The seats were uncomfortable. Loud, right? Radio out of a 1996 Dodge Neon. 1996 Dodge Neon radio.
What year was the Jeep that you rented?
2019.
Oh God!
I couldn't even plug in my phone to charge it.
Oh no!
It was terrible. It was terrible. I couldn't hear the radio. I couldn't hear the phone. I had no Bluetooth. It was bad. I won't do it. I won't do it. And so this friend of ours, he has this fantasy about rock crawling on the weekends.
Okay.
He'll never do it, but
I have a buddy that does.
I bet you have a buddy that does.
Yeah.
It's not going to be this buddy.
It's not. No, it's definitely not, because I'm 100% sure we're talking about two different people right now.
Yeah, we are. But I'm a car guy. I like to foster the car
Sure.
thing.
Yeah, like if that's your thing,
yeah,
I'm not gonna poo on it.
No, I mean I definitely pooed on it.
Well, I'm not gonna entirely poo on it. I'm still gonna help
by the end
you
of the
chase
conversation.
your dream,
I
though.
told him, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I gave him a lot of material that should help him with his wife when he purchases this terrible, terrible car.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go with him because
New wife or not?
New wife?
Yeah.
No, he's been married for a while.
All right. Then okay. I'm just trying to figure out who you're talking about. It's fine. You don't have to get.
It's this guy.
Okay. All right. I got it.
She doesn't know it yet, so hopefully she doesn't listen to this podcast.
No, she doesn't know. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, he didn't buy it, so he's still in the clear.
All right. Well, good for him. Well,
Spoiler alert. Right?
Yeah. All right.
So we show up in what do they call that? Diamond plated metal. Like
Oh yeah.
things covered in it, all over the fenders.
Wait. The body of the thing is covered.
Right. Because it's a rust bucket. I'm surprised that they were able to attach the diamond plate. I'm like, where'd you find a clean piece of metal to rivet this thing?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Definitely repainted. Looked like it was a rattle can kind of paint job.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
He was leaking oil.
Why did he go look at this thing?
They all leak oil, but it was also leaking fuel in the back.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that's
which
not
is
what
probably
you
a
want.
line, not a tank, but still. And it's unfortunate because it was I think it was a 4-liter. I think was it a 4-liter 6-cylinder, big 6-cylinder, which is the only thing you would want to buy. I mean, if you get in a Wrangler, you got the 4 cylinders were junk, but he recognized that this one was a little rougher.
Rough around the edges. Yeah.
So that wasn't the one, but I bet he buys it. That was the interesting thing I did this week.
Okay, I saw this week was the first time I had seen a 2020 Porsche on the road. So the new Porsches, they've got that really cool brake light thing that I can't. It's cool, but I can't decide whether I like it or not. Yeah. It's like it looks kind of like a Bugatti where it's got like a single LED brake light that goes all around. So that was cool to see one. Unfortunately, I have to massively disagree with the owner's choice. And because it was a 2020, I know it was a choice. It wasn't like the guy got it used as a good deal, and so he had to live with the color of the exterior and the interior. It was ugly brown. And I know we've touched on ugly brown before.
We have.
But it was ugly brown, and it wasn't a cheap one. It was a Carrera S. Okay, it was like the guy. Mm-hmm. It was a 2020 911 Carrera S that was ugly brown with a tan interior. So the guy doubled down on the brown. And I'm sorry, you don't get that car in ugly brown, and because you can go tan, you can go light brown, and maybe it looks okay, or you can go really, really dark brown to where it's almost black, and maybe that looks okay too, depending on what kind of wheels you get and whatever. No, this was like middle of the road, just ugly, ugly brown. You're buying a brand new Porsche, you've got 67 choices of paint color, and you're gonna come at me with ugly brown.
Yeah, no.
So,
no
but anyway, I tried to look at how nice the rest of the car looked, but I'm sorry if that was your Porsche and you're listening to this podcast. I love you as a person. I love that you bought a new Porsche because that is commendable. But think about the color next time, I think, just a little bit more. All right, so this week, I'm offering up a challenge. So we're gonna do the car enthusiast take on Sex, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
But with cars. Mm-hmm. So it's Track Daily Crush. And the way that this is going to work is you are now living in a fictional 3-car garage. And
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes. Imagine it with me. You go out to the garage and you have 3 car spaces. In the first car space is reserved for your track car. So you have to walk by this car every day to get to your daily. You cannot get inside your track car. You can't open the doors. You can't turn it on. You can't do anything. It magically shows up in a track 4 times a year, and you get to drive it as many times as you want on your track day, and that's it. And then it magically shows back up in your garage in the first spot in your garage. Okay. Then next to that car is your daily car. You get to drive that car whenever you want. It's your daily driver. It doesn't have to be economical. There it is. Then in the third space of your 3-car garage is empty. There is a 1 foot by 1 foot square box of metal that has been crushed down. Okay. And then on the wall is a, let's say, 12-foot picture of what that car used to be. And you have to stare at that and say, oh, I could have been driving that around. Instead, I put it in a metal crusher, and now it's this little box that's sitting in front of me. Okay, so that's how Track Daily Crush goes.
Okay,
and so I'm gonna name the 3 cars.
Do I have to come up with 3 for you then too, or
no,
the same 3?
Same 3. Okay. And then the next time we do this, we can pick a different 3.
Okay,
but for our first go into the Track Daily Crush, here are the cars, and they're all gonna be similar price points. So brand new. 60 grand. You option them up, they're around 80. Okay?
Brand new, and I got to put it in a crusher.
Yes. Well, I mean, so we've got.
I think this is fake.
Ford Mustang GT350.
Oh yeah.
It can either be the R or the regular, whatever floats your boat. The M2.
Competition.
Whatever floats your boat.
Okay.
I mean, the competition is a little more expensive, so let's make it fair.
Okay.
We'll just do GT350, not the R. We'll do just the M2, the base model. Okay. And the third car is the Porsche Cayman S.
Ooh.
So the Cayman starts at like 70.
I know exactly what I'm doing already.
Already? Okay.
Already.
All right. Hit me with it.
Really? You just want me to get into it?
Just get into it.
Okay. The Porsche?
Yeah.
I'm tracking.
Okay.
The M2 I'm dailying. And I'm crushing the shit out of my Mustang. Yep.
Oh, wow. That was fast.
Oh, yeah.
See, I knew these cars. I knew I wanted to do this. And I knew kind of what these cars were going to be about 2 weeks ago, and I agonized over the decision. You did it in like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
What's the logic there? So why are you tracking the Porsche?
I've always wanted to track a Porsche. I think it's the best car to put on a track.
It's what they were made for.
Most
arguably
well-rounded track car, right?
Yeah.
It may not be the fastest, may not be the best, but it will, on an average in every category, come out ahead.
It's a driver's car for sure. Yeah. And that's what I love and appreciate about Porsche is that they make driver's cars. It's what they do. Yeah, they have a few other things.
It's the wheelbase and the engine placement with the displacement that puts that thing on a track and makes it a contender with some stuff that's really, really expensive.
Now, if they would just make the Cayman with the 911 engine, just take Porsche. What the heck is take that 911 engine, turbocharge that thing, and set it in a Cayman, and that thing would set the world on fire, but they won't do it. Because all the Porsche purists would cry little sweet tears of sadness because the Cayman would be faster than the 911 car. Okay, so anyway, so that's it.
That's it. I mean, I think you have the most fun on a track with the Porsche.
Yeah. Period.
I think the BMW would be fun on the track, but you would be having fun in the last position because I don't think whatever you're tracking it against that day, it's going to keep up. I think it's a hell of a car. I think it handles well. I think it's more fun to dick around with it on the streets and daily it. And they make way too many Mustangs for my liking. I mean, one less Mustang in the world is okay with me. And I think this would be a harder decision if I couldn't get a 4-cylinder Mustang that looked exactly like the GT350.
Yeah, it's the 4-cylinder Mustang is a point of contention for me because I know that It's faster than the V6. The current turbo.
Is it really?
Yeah. So the current
They're putting an Ego Boost
the
four-cylinder
Ego Boost 4-cylinder is faster than the V6. It gets better gas mileage. I get it. And if you look at it like the problem is it still looks like a Mustang, and so I want it to sound like a V8. And
I think that's the problem. I think that's my issue with Mustang, and we have a lot of Mustang friends. You're a Mustang guy.
I sure am.
I don't care for him that much, but I don't care for him because I feel like they have built a platform that is trying to be all things to all people in all brackets, and I am a car guy that likes the car.
Yeah.
You build a car for one thing or a couple things, and it owns that lane.
Yeah.
You know, that is the lane. No pun intended that car is in.
Yeah.
If I'm getting like, and they just did this like weird crossover electric Mustang, right? Did you see this?
Oh my God, the Mach-E.
The Mach-E.
Oh,
Listen,
Ford.
I'm a marketing guy. Like I get it, but you listen, taking the nameplate and the badging and the brand and trying to squeeze more juice out of it for something like that does more damage to a Mustang, true Mustang V8 like muscle car.
That car
than it
looks
helps.
so ugly.
Of course it does.
I don't know who made the worst electric truck, Ford or Tesla, because that thing is ugly.
Yeah.
It's ugly.
But it carries the same badge
As
as
a-
a thing that you're drilling over
I know.
one day and that you want in your garage.
Yeah. It's
So crush it. It's dead.
oh God, it hurts. Okay.
Yeah. That was a little quick.
That was
this
very
will be
fast.
a fast
That was-
podcast.
Well, I didn't think you were going to arrive to that conclusion so fast.
Ah, man, you don't know me very well. 'Cause
Well,
that-
I mean, I kind of figured you were going to daily the M2.
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
figured
right.
you're a BMW guy.
you knew that.
I knew that you were going to daily it. Okay, so for me,
What do you got? Let me just can I put out a guess?
yeah,
You're contemplating,
Uh-huh.
do you daily or track the Mustang because you love it so much that you
No.
don't know if you want to daily it but never be able to actually put it through its paces, or if you want to really roll on it hard but then never get to actually just drive it to work or on a Sunday afternoon. And this is where we had
you
video
can't see me, but I'm wincing. Yeah, it's two of those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's one, my dream daily driver car has been a Porsche forever. I want to daily a Porsche at some point in my life. And so the thought of driving the Cayman every day and then having to walk by that GT350, knowing that it has nearly 200 horsepower more than the Cayman every day and having to look at it and knowing that it sounds better than the Cayman also, and having to see it every day and not drive it would be tough for me. You're absolutely right. It would be hard. It's hard to know which way to go on the Mustang.
You're crushing the Beamer.
But I like the M2 so much.
No, it's a great car. It's just I know what your struggle is, man. And just as easy as it was for me to throw away the Mustang,
Yeah.
I know it's just as easy for
It's
you to
not.
throw away the competition.
It's not. I love
Just the M2.
I love the M2. If I
picture the M2 now.
if
I'm
I
gonna
had
challenge it.
50 grand to spend, because you can get most of these cars for 50 used. If I had 50 grand to spend on a daily, or just whatever my next car is, it would be just murderer's row trying to decide between these three cars. Right? They all come in manual transmission.
That's the ultimate driving machine. Nobody's putting manuals in this except BMW.
BMW's got it, man.
And the M2 is what the M3 used to be.
Yes, it's that size. That's the thing that I love about the M2. It's the right size.
Yep.
I love how aggressive it looks. You know, it doesn't look. That's the other thing. Like the M5, it looks a lot like a 5 Series. Like there's not a lot different about it.
No.
You know, if you're not a car person, you can't. But the M2 looks a lot more aggressive than the normal 2 Series cars do.
And if I understand this correctly, they took a lot of the computers out of this and made this more of an analog experience.
It is. And
You can do some like what you used to be able to do in an E46.
right. Yeah, and it's very similar in size to the E46, more so than the current M cars are.
Right.
So I love out of all three of these, that's my favorite size car.
Yeah.
And I get that the Cayman and the M2 are pretty close in size. I think the M2 is my favorite looking of the three cars. I think if you give me the choice of what I like the looks of the most, that's the one I go to. But that's not what this challenge is about. So it would be hard. And it's funny because each one of these is a different notch in horsepower too. You've got the Cayman S is a 4-cylinder, pushing out 350 horsepower.
4-cylinder?
The new Caymans are 4-cylinders. So for the love of God, no. The Caymans, I'm pretty sure the Caymans used to be inline 6s, and for some reason the new ones are 4-cylinders, I believe.
Huh.
But it looks good. Look at that thing.
Does it come in a Targa?
I don't know that I'm pretty sure the Cayman comes into Targa. Yeah. No, it comes in a convertible. It's not a Targa. And the convertible looks pretty good too, because it's only a 2-seater car.
That's interesting. I don't know. I would definitely track that one.
But here's the
You're
thing.
not gonna,
I've seen several videos of people tracking the Cayman S versus the M2, and the M2 can't keep up. The Cayman leaves it in dust, even though it's a 4-cylinder, even though it's 50 plus horsepower less than the M2. The M2 just cannot keep up with the Cayman on the track. It just can't. It can't do it. And so that's why numbers aren't everything.
Yeah.
The problem is you'd absolutely, if you were going to daily the Cayman S, you'd have to throw an exhaust on it. You couldn't leave it stock because it doesn't sound inspiring.
Yeah.
Stock, unlike the GT350, which sounds damn good stock. So
if you ride in a Cayman S, does anybody care?
No, I think that car flies totally under the radar. Yeah. You don't get anywhere near the look. I mean, aside from people who like Porsches, because it's a nothing car to people who don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I've taken away from I was so intrigued by this. So what are you going to track then? You going to track this? Are you going to?
After much thought, I think I have to track the Cayman. And I think the reason why, even though my goal in life is to daily a Porsche, even though that's my dream, I think that this would be the wrong one. Because of the things that you said. Because it's fairly normal looking Porsche. It's only a 4-cylinder, so it's not going to sound great every day. It's not going to be super inspiring, but it will carve up a track very well. So that to me, and like I said, I've seen videos of people tracking both this and the M2, and the Cayman just pulls away.
Even with the 4-cylinder?
Even with the 4-cylinder.
You're kidding me.
No. It's lighter. It's
wow.
And it's 50 horsepower less.
It's 50 horsepower less.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about going back in time 20 years to the E46 M3.
Right.
Because it was 333 horsepower, 6-cylinder,
yeah,
inline 6, manual transmission.
Yeah. And this is more than that. It's similar size. Yeah. And I'm sure an M2 would leave an E46 in the dust now, with the way the technology and stuff works.
100%.
So then I arrive at what is the better daily for me, the M2 or the Mustang? And I got to go with the Mustang. I have to. Like it's the car that, I love the way that BMW does things.
You're crushing the BMW.
I have to. Because I couldn't live with myself.
I don't know, man. Man, I respect
GT350.
You. I respect you, but I don't.
526 horsepower.
Yeah.
Flat plane crank. V8. Let's go.
Bad.
Sounds awesome. Looks awesome. Would be super fun. You would get looks everywhere in that car, depending on, what colors you went with.
Well, sure. You'd have anything from a 16-year-old girl who wants her first car to some bozo like us.
So for me, the 350 just offers more theater, more substance than the M2 does for me. Now, I totally understand the counterpoint. I would cry the weepiest weepy tears to crush a BMW M2 and have to see it reminded of me on the wall as the picture, because like I said, I think it looks the best out of these three cars.
What? In my head, it was so much easier. And now that I have all three pictures,
You gotta look up the pictures.
I'm
It's
so
tough.
mad at myself because I can't do this.
And that's the part of the crush is you have to find the coolest picture, and it's gotta hang on the wall as a reminder.
I am telling you, this is not as easy as quickly as I put it, because I've got all three up now, and in my head it was much different.
Yeah.
I don't know. God, this sucks.
And for me, it would even be torture to have the Cayman be my track car, because I would have to walk by a Porsche every day and see it and not be able to. So even that would be horrible.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not changing my picks.
That's
but
fine.
I'm telling you that I am now sick to my stomach with them.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's what I was going for here. I didn't want it to be
I want
easy.
to barf. This is. At least I'm not crushed. No, I did crush the Mustang.
You crushed the Mustang. And you crushed the Mustang fast, like 5 seconds fast.
Oh God. All right. I can I amend? Can I amend?
If you want to go back on it, you can.
I'm crushing the Porsche.
Oh, yeah.
I'll track the Mustang and daily the Beamer.
I think the Mustang would be hella good on the track.
You know, I would be mad at myself for doing that, because that Mustang looks like every other Mustang you've ever seen your whole life. But I think the value and the experience of actually driving this car would supersede my disdain for the fact that it looks like every other Mustang for the last 20 years.
It's got an 8200 red line in that car.
I don't know. Does that ruin it for you, though? Like traditional muscle car? Because the Mustang was a muscle car, right? And now it's not. Same with the Camaro. These are now
Sports cars.
So
it doesn't ruin it for me. I don't mind it so much when it's a special one-off, like this one, like the GT350, or when they do the Super Snake. That I don't mind so much. My problem kind of lies in the I don't know. It's a damn good looking car though. I understand what you're saying, how it looks like every Mustang, but Mustang they've figured it out. You know, look at a new Camaro. They didn't figure it out. The new Camaros look horrible.
They do.
They look horrible.
They do.
I don't know how they made.
So, and this is getting off topic, but these headlights here. You're so excited. I'm going to hurt your feelings here. Don't be so excited.
Ford Fusion?
Ford Taurus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know they canceled the Taurus, but like.
Well, and those are the old ones. So Ford is going through this identity crisis right now, where they don't know how to make the front end of the Mustang
or the back end. This has been the same back end for 20 years.
Yes.
This came out in 2005.
Yeah, I know, roughly. Yeah. So if you look at the front end of those headlights, and then you pull up if you go look up 2019 Mustang.
That is a 2019.
That's the GT350.
Yeah.
Look up the normal.
Oh.
Just the normal GT Mustang, and they have like a different looking headlight front grille situation.
I don't believe you. Oh, you do. Oh God.
They don't know what they're doing over there. Look at it,
Robert. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's funny because the brand new GT350 is still using the old headlight setup.
God.
Yeah.
Because I changed my shit back if. Oh, man.
So Ford doesn't really have it all together either. And they just made that Mach-E like we just talked about. And that thing looks like trash.
That ruins everything.
Looks horrible.
Yeah.
Pick a different name. Like we covered that a few episodes ago with the Corvette. Like
they needed
pick a different
name. They
name.
needed the cachet and the brand equity of Mustang, and I think that's sad because you've used it now for 4-cylinder EcoBoost. You've used it for 6-cylinder garbage clunkers. You've used it for regular GTs, 350s, Super Snakes. Right, like you have exceeded the amount of brand equity that you had built, and now you're in the deficit when you put in the Mach-E.
Yeah, you're making. I don't even know how many different variants of the car now at this point. 7, 8.
Yeah, and they discontinued the Taurus That's a name that should have been on that.
Or just make up something else, because it's not even the right
You can't
body
do it.
shape.
You
Like
can't
it's
do it.
not.
Yeah. You should have made the Mach-E a Taurus, because the Taurus name badge has still got brand equity. It still has a following. You sully the name of the Mustang even more. Like, just when you think you couldn't make it any more watered down,
Yeah.
you started with like the lemonade they make at the carnivals, and now you have reverse osmosis water. Like, couldn't be any more pure.
Yeah,
ugly.
and there's something that it does to the base platform, right? When you're trying to make it adaptable in that way, like it can't be a certain thing because it's got to be generalized enough, to fit all their different, platforms now, which cheapens the experience. I think that's why there's something magical about Miatas. They're a single platform, single service thing.
Yeah.
They're not taking the chassis as something else, and they're not taking, whatever. Oh God. So Pete just pulled up. See, now this is my argument for Corvette. So Pete just pulled up a picture of the 2020 GT, the Ford GT, which might be the best looking car that is currently in production. There's an argument to be made that Chevy should have gone this route that the GT did, where you've got
what route?
You've got the Mustang, and it's at the $50,000 price point, and then you've got all the variants of the Mustang that take you all the way up through $100,000, and then this guy sits. I forget what.
So the Camaro should be that, and
Yes,
then the Corvette
should have been an elevated thing like this, where it's
That's interesting. I don't know if I have to noodle on that. I don't know if I agree with that or not.
Because now, why would you ever buy a Camaro?
I would never buy a Camaro before either. So
Yeah. But I think I literally think with the new Corvette, like, who's gonna buy a Camaro? Seriously, like, you're gonna buy a new Camaro now that looks ugly, like, it looks horrible.
There are certain people in this world that adore mullets and enjoy lean-tos.
And there's strictly Chevy buyers.
Just strictly Chevy. Yeah, I mean, like, there are. Listen,
Because those people.
all jokes aside, there are Camaro people out there, and I can't wrap my head around them. I don't understand them, but
I think that's fine. I think objectively, the new Camaro is atrocious looking.
yeah.
And they haven't. They.
Why can't Ford Mustang use those headlights? I mean, you've got your own Halo car.
Yeah.
And you can't. See, I'm angry now.
That's like I said, that's probably the best looking car. And the way those flying buttresses go out on the side, and there's like air that flies through. Oh my gosh, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, the new Camaro, man.
I
terrible.
drooled all over my desk one day there. I saw a video of the new Ford GT, and it was black, and it had red accents on it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at how gross that thing is. Look at it.
2020 Camaro. Yeah.
It's so bad looking.
Yeah, that's terrible. Well, we digress from the original game here,
Yeah.
but
Anyway, so your final verdict was you're going to track the GT350,
I'm going to track the GT350.
and you're still going to daily the Beamer, and then you're going to crush the Porsche Cayman.
I think the Beamer's more fun in day-to-day traffic.
I think you're right. I think so.
I'm going to crush the Cayman because it's not a 911.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. Yeah. Well, you couldn't get into a 911 for 60. So
Not
that's
a
why,
new one.
Not a new one. No.
No.
Which is why this
Yeah.
challenge. Okay. And I'm gonna daily the 350. I'm gonna crush the Beamer and cry every day, and I'm gonna track the Cayman. So there you go. So there's our first go around at Track Daily Crush.
I like it. All right. Boy, that's a good game.
It's a fun game. Play with your friends. Let
Yeah.
us know. Hit us up. Email us. Let us know what you would have chose.
And it doesn't get you in any trouble like my $5,000 game.
No, yeah, we're not spending any actual money here. We're just, this is all just, just dreamland.
So let me ask you a question here.
Sure, hit me.
Have you heard of JDM cars?
No,
I didn't either.
wasn't a that's Japanese, right?
Japanese domestic market.
Okay.
So let me back up and tell you that one of my dreams
Uh-huh.
in my garage, this fictitious place that has everything that I want.
Which your fictitious garage contains how many vehicles?
Oh, unlimited infinity. Is that a number? Yeah.
Okay, in your infinity garage.
My infinity garage.
Okay.
One of the things I have is a right-hand drive vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Infatuation started when I was a kid and saw the mail lady. That's cool. They make cars like that? I couldn't get it out of my head.
So Pete gets his infatuation from lawnmowers and mail ladies. Okay. Go on.
I thought it was awesome. I asked my dad. I said, what the heck? He's like, well, that's so they can deliver, whatever. I'm like, stupid answer for a kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough for me. I was like, well, that's cool. How do I get one of those? He's like, another throwaway comment. He's like, you got to move to Greece. Like, what? Explain that. Oh, well, in most of the other world, in the other countries, like they drive on the other side of the road and they and that's where it started. I was like, oh my God. So the holy grail for me is like, Range Rover, Defender, like right-hand drive, BMW E30, right-hand drive, anything Honda, right-hand drive. If I could do it, I would like. So as of recently, I thought, so stupidly, I thought maybe I'm in the market for right-hand drive.
We're all in the market.
I think Congress passed a law that said you can import a car over 25 years old as a collector show. I forget the phrasing. It was like show and go or showing something. It was like some cheesy little tagline that got the bill passed. But basically, the reason up until recently you couldn't have any of that shit is because they didn't meet federal guidelines for safety. And up until, and I should have known this for the podcast, but as recent as like 10 or 15 years, not that long ago, they passed a law that said you could import a car, but it has to be 25 years old. Well,
okay.
Guess what's turning 25? 91, 92, 93.
Yeah.
Anything, right?
Right.
So every year the vintage comes up one, and you can import cars. So there are companies, one of which I'm looking at now, called JDM Sport Cars, where you can import your dream car as a right-hand drive because it's from Asia.
Oh, no. So what on this site has caught your eye?
Everything. Everything. But they've got this Nissan Skyline GTR R34 R34V.
Yeah.
Right? 112.
So that's cheap. I want to say that's cheaper than what a brand new GTR is, I think. I think those are like around 120 new. Nissan.
This one's used, obviously, 31,000 kilometers. They
113. 113 starting at.
Really?
Yeah.
In other countries, they make cars that they don't ever give to us. So
what's up with that, by the way?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Like what's the deal with that? Like, we're Americans, we don't like to drive cars.
I think it has everything to do with like law. It has nothing to do with the actual
you think it's some sort of like emissions thing or safety?
I think it's emissions, safety, and overall protectionism.
Yeah.
It
could be.
Because there are some really cool cars that we don't ever get. But one of them, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't think they have it anymore. It was a Honda, but it's basically like a CRV size. It has an engine that you would get in a motorcycle, like a Honda. It's like 660 cc's. Okay. The old version of it like came with zebra seats, like cloth seats.
Oh yeah,
and that was stock. That wasn't the Honda Beat. That's right.
The Honda Beat.
The Honda Beat. So take a look at this thing.
Oh my gosh. It's got a bicycle rack on the back of it.
Yeah. Check this out, man.
That's a funky little. Oh my gosh,
What'd I tell you, dude?
Do you have to sling cocaine if you drive one of those cars?
It's a little bigger than a half liter.
Oh my gosh.
That's why it's 600 cc's, right? 0.6 liter, three cylinder, 5-speed convertible.
Oh my gosh.
Right-hand drive. Tell me that's not fun.
Okay, it absolutely would be fun. I have to acquiesce to you there. It would be fun as a toy, as something in your infinity garage.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can't agree with you. What color would you pick?
I like red.
Red with the zebra?
Yeah, red with the zebra.
See, I think
It
I would
came
go
in
neon
red-
green.
It came red, black, or yellow.
Oh,
That was
okay.
it.
So neon green's not an option.
No, I mean
Or electric blue.
Anything's an option. 93 Toyota Supra Turbo 6-speed, $50,000.
Oh, look at that thing.
91,000 miles.
Oh my gosh.
Right-hand drive.
Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Tell me that isn't the coolest thing you've ever seen,
Oh,
right?
man. Okay, so now that
So you have a garage and I have a garage, and you have some nice cars, and I have a right-hand drive Supra.
oh my gosh, dude.
JDM.
For $50K, you can get, and that thing's mint looking. I get that it's got 90,000 miles on it, but look, when you're talking 25 years or older, you're talking high, that kind of mileage anyway.
These are legit cars.
And
in
that
Japan.
engine, that 2JZ engine is fucking indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Really. If it doesn't have like 1,000,000 pounds of boost going through it, that thing will run a long time. And that car looks great, and it's got a very tasteful body kit on it, because that's not stock the way that
No.
front bumper is.
No.
And that's the one thing with used Supras is a lot of times you see the last 4 owners of the car did some crazy stuff with it.
There's some junk on this site, right? Because these are all used cars.
Right.
And so you
But
get people
that
that mod
was
them out.
beautiful.
A lot of Skylines. A lot of
Oh,
92
man.
Skylines.
Yeah, I'm sure that's just Skyline, Supra, Civic.
How about
craziness.
a 92 Evo, right?
Oh yeah,
I've never been a
Oh.
huge fan, but
That's only got 36,000 miles on it.
that might be kilometers. But it's still.
No, it's miles, right?
Yeah, no, it says miles. Yeah, maybe they converted it.
Maybe. Look at that. It's brand new.
Tell me
What's the price on that one?
that one sold for $15,500.
15,500.
Uh-huh.
Now, is that including shipping prices, or is that just like?
I have never had the balls to actually call this.
Oh my God,
I don't
dude.
know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's the website?
It's Montu Motors, MONTUMOTORS.
There you go. Go check it out and get yourself a right-hand drive piece of history, man.
I hesitate because I feel like we have hundreds of thousands of listeners.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like driving up the price of these things. Like I shouldn't have given this out
you
because now
everybody's gonna go. It's gonna be
Yeah.
tougher to find something good.
because the current inventory at this site is only 12 cars.
Okay.
And it changes weekly, monthly, whatever they can get their
I'm
hands
sure.
on. Right now, they're all Skylines. I don't know what a Mitsubishi FTO is.
I don't know what an FTO is.
Apparently, it's cooler than an Eclipse because
That wing's a little weird though. It looks kind of like a whale tail. Although that front,
look at
dude,
that.
I could get into one of those.
Yeah, FTO.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that wing, but you could change that.
Yeah,
You can pop that sucker off and
that's
put a different
that'll be
wing on it.
available. That'll be available February for
16 grand.
It was an interesting offering from Mitsubishi from 94 to 2000. Front engine, front wheel drive, coupe, 3 engine options with 3 transmission options. It says ultimately in 2000, crash test restrictions and slow sales led to the demise of the FTO.
Well, there you go. The crash test didn't pass, so yeah. I got to imagine that's what a lot of it is that, the crash tests, that sort of thing. We got to be safe, and which is admirable, we want to be safe here.
I mean, who's crash test though?
Yeah.
What are we really testing? Don't crash it, you'll be fine.
That's the trick, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So are you an F1? Do you ever watch F1 at all?
Not really. Not as much as I should or would like to.
There's a really great series on Netflix that I would highly recommend for anybody.
I've come across it and I just haven't
Drive to
clicked it.
Survive.
Yeah.
Drive to Survive. Go out, watch it. It is phenomenal. It covers last year's F1 series. My only problem with it is it doesn't go chronologically. So they don't start on race 1 and go forward. They sort of start at the beginning of the season, but then because there are certain interesting things that happen at race 9 and race 7, and they sort of highlight different drivers throughout each thing. And it might be that like this driver, something interesting happens with them on race 6. And so they go there and they sort of bounce around. I would have preferred it to happen chronologically, I think. So it's a fantastic series. I highly recommend anybody who's an enthusiast who maybe you're not familiar with F1, go watch it. It's great. There are a few intrinsic problems with F1. and I'm going to briefly go over them right now. The problem is that because there are 10 teams, each team runs their own car. There's a drastic difference between some of the teams and the others. So every year, either a Mercedes or Ferrari or a Red Bull car wins the race. More likely than not, it's Mercedes or Ferrari win. That's just it. That's it. The other teams have no chance, zero chance on even winning a race, let alone the championship. Okay.
Why? I mean,
It's just performance. It's
right?
crazy performance. And so what I would love to see is to have all those same drivers race in a uniform car, but none of them would ever do it, because that's the argument is like Lewis Hamilton, he's like the top, he's the best. He won drivers championship this year. He drives for Mercedes. All the other drivers are like, if I had his car, I'd kick his ass. Right.
And it's easy to say when you don't.
It's easy to say when you don't have access to it, right?
Yeah,
but it's so clear that Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull, they have the best cars. And so it's a well-known thing, and they literally call it the best of the rest is the other teams. That's what they call it. It's crazy, but that's what it is.
That makes sense.
So anyway, there are problems with F1. Positioning plays such a key role. It's hard to make passes on certain tracks. I get it.
Yep.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. So anyway, I watched the Brazilian Grand Prix, which was the second to last race of the season, and it was super exciting. It was great. Now, I've watched some F1 races in the past, and they were fairly normal, but this one was really great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just sort of walk you through.
Lay it out, yeah.
Because listen, by the time you guys are all hearing this, if you care, you've seen it. If you sort of care, you've seen it, or you know what happens. I'm not spoiling anything for you here. But if I inspire you to go take a look at this race, spoiler alert, Brazilian Grand Prix 2019. Okay. So one of the drivers that I like, his name's Carlos Sainz Jr. He drives for McLaren. He used to drive for Renault. This year he's driving for McLaren. He finishes dead last in qualifying. He had some sort of engine problem. He's in last place. The race starts off. The Red Bull driver, Max Verstappen, leads for 21 laps. He's in first place. Trailing him is Lewis Hamilton on lap 21, and he pits. So F1 is all about when do you pit and change your tires, so that way you put yourself in a position to have pitted in the right place versus how much you wore your tires down to win the race. It's kind of lame, but it's the only thing that they have, okay?
It's the only
strategy that you can play. Lewis Hamilton pits, lap 22nd. He drops from second place to sixth place. Max is still in the lead. Max drives for Red Bull, okay? They're like sort of the underdog of the top two. It's always Mercedes, Ferrari. Those two are the top dogs, and Red Bull is trying to claw their way in, and they win some races, but they don't ever come close.
What does Red Bull run? Well, I mean,
what do you mean? What do they run?
I mean, it's a brand. It's not a car, right?
Right. Well, they got into the F1 game a little while ago, and they actually have Red Bull has two teams.
But they got to be using somebody's engine.
They use Honda engines this year. So they in the years past they used to use Renault engines.
Really?
Renault was another F1 team.
Yeah.
Renault makes tons of cars. They're not popular here in the U.S., but they're popular in the rest of the world. So Red Bull used to use Renault engines. Okay.
Gotcha.
Then here's the thing. Last year, and this is spoiler alert for Drive to Survive. So if you don't want to hear the spoiler that happens, then jump to 49 minutes and 50 seconds. All right, let's get back to the story. So one of the main drivers they cover in Drive to Survive Season 1 is Red Bull's main driver. His name is Danny Ricciardo, and he's been driving for them since 2014. Max Verstappen is the new guy, and there's a lot of pressure in that season of Daniel being their veteran member and Max being the new guy. And Max is doing everything he can to impress Red Bull and drive as much as he can. So there's some conflict there. At the very end of the season, Renault poaches Danny Ricciardo from Red Bull. So next season, he's going to be driving for Renault. So then Renault is like, we stole your driver. And then Red Bull's like, all right, well, fuck you. We don't want your engines then, which is millions of dollars that Red Bull pays Renault to have their engine tech. So basically Honda comes in, Red Bull and Honda partner up, and now the Red Bull cars are Honda engines now this year. First year, It's a huge gamble, right? Because an F1 engine is crazy technology-wise.
Yeah.
It's crazy, crazy, crazy. On the very next lap, because Lewis Hamilton pitted on lap 21, Max is like, oh shit, okay. He's farther down now. I might have time to pit and get out ahead of him still.
Oh, yeah.
Because then we'll lap everybody and get back to 1 and 2. And I'll still be in front. So he goes to pit on lap 22 to get back out in
22
Hamilton.
of
22nd lap, sorry.
22nd lap of
there are
how
70,
many?
70 something laps. I think there's 75 or something like that. So he goes in, and it looks like there's going to be enough time. His crew pulls a sub 2-second tire change, which is crazy fast.
nuts.
2 seconds. Changes out all 4 tires. He's coming out of the pit lane, and it's like, okay, here he comes, here he comes. The Williams, now Williams, for those of you that don't know, they make the worst cars. They are always in the bottom 2 places for the most part. They're a historic franchise. They haven't been able to come out from the bottom of the pack for years and years and years. They let a car out. Their car was in pit ahead. Mm-hmm. And as he's coming up, they let him out, and he has to slam on the brakes and stop. And it fucks him up. It screws him up. And now he comes out behind Hamilton. He can't make it out. He tries. He can't make it out. So it screws him up. And it's like, they should not have released the Williams car because it was an unsafe release, in quotes, right?
Yeah.
So now Max is in 6th. Hamilton's in 5th. But our boy, Carlos Sainz, has worked his way up from last place. Now he's in 11th place. Wow. Okay, so he's doing work. He's putting some work in.
Oh, yeah, for
20
sure.
laps in, he's putting work in. All right.
That's a lot of work in 20 laps.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So Max is like, oh, no. And he drives like a madman. And by lap 23, he passes Lewis Hamilton. Puts a move on him, puts a pass on him, and now he's at position 4, right? Let's fast forward. Time, blah, 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 blah. There's several miraculous things that happen. Lap 52... So lots of time passes. Valtteri Bottas, who is Lewis Hamilton's driving partner for Mercedes, each team has 2 cars. So Bottas is the other Mercedes driver. His engine dies. Lap 52. Out of the race.
Just done.
Wow. Can't go any further, which that never happened. That's such a rare occurrence for Mercedes to have that kind of problem. He's done. So that knocks him out. Carlos Sainz is up to 10th now. Because his engine dies, it's kind of whatever. They have to have a safety car. And so that sort of gathers everybody together. Max pits from number 1, and Lewis Hamilton passes him because if Max didn't pit, then Lewis was going to pit. So it was like whoever did, it was kind of chicken. So Max pits, gets fresh tires. Lewis doesn't pit, and they just sort of go on. So Hamilton's number 1, Max drops to number 2. Several laps go by. The restart is on lap 59, and my boy Carlos Sainz is now in position 8. It's Lewis Hamilton in 1st, Max Verstappen in 2nd. And as soon as the restart happens, it's huge advantage to whoever the first car is because they get to decide when the restart happens, when it's a safety car. So they can lollygag around and figure out and just play loosey-goosey, and then all of a sudden they hammer it down and they're gone. And if you're not paying attention and if they do it at the right spot, they may gain seconds on you, which seconds matter a ton in Formula 1. Okay. So Hamilton hammers it down. Max Verstappen drives after him and like almost immediately passes him, like puts on a sick move and passes him right along. Okay. The other driver for Red Bull, Alex Albon, is Max's partner. And so he's number 3 right now. So you've got Max in number 1, Lewis and Hamilton number 2. Then you've got Max's partner in number 3, and then both Ferrari drivers behind him. Okay. After the 2 Ferraris, then there is this guy, Gasly. He drives for the other Red Bull team, Toro Rosso. And then my boy Sainz is behind him. Okay? Now, I like Sainz because he seems like a really good dude. He's featured in the Drive to Survive documentary, so you'll see him. He drives for Renault during that documentary. Then we come to lap 66, my friend. And lap 66 is the key moment in this race here. What happens is the Ferraris can't get their shit together. There's the veteran, Sebastian Vettel, and then you've got Charles Leclerc, and they're fighting for position amongst themselves. They're on the same team, and they can't decide who gets in front of who. in the race. And so Leclerc puts a move on Sebastian Vettel. Vettel's the veteran guy. He puts a move on him and gets by him, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I've got fresher tires. Let me by.
Yeah.
We're not in podium position right now. We need to put a move, right?
Yeah.
They're 4 and 5. They've got to do something.
So the rookie puts a move on the
veteran.
That doesn't go well, huh?
It does not go well. so then Vettel goes to pass Leclerc and clips the tire. He goes to come in and he puts like this weird move and he clips his tire. And so the one Ferrari, the back tire shreds. I think it was the back tire. Shreds completely. He goes off the track. Done.
Yeah.
The other Ferrari comes around the corner. Its tire then like shreds. It's done. Both Ferraris are out. They knocked each other out of the race at the very, very end, lap 66.
Oh, my God.
Wow. What idiots.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are trying to fight for a position to win a race.
So they're 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And they knock themselves out. So
Right.
8 just moves into 5.
Right. Yes. So.
Oh, man.
So we have a restart. And at the restart, we've got Max is number 1. And then Albon is number 2. Gasly is number 3. So Max and Albon are teammates.
Okay.
Albon has never won a race. He's never podiumed in a race. So he is on fire right now.
Right.
He is losing his mind.
Yeah.
And then Pierre Gasly at number 3. And so he's losing his mind too because he's number 3. And he's like, what in the world? Lewis Hamilton, the best driver in the world, is number 4. And then my man, Carlos Sainz, is in number 5. Okay. So the restart happens. It's lap 70. Hamilton quickly passes Gasly from 4 to 3. Then at a turn, Albon makes a rookie mistake and he goes too wide. And Lewis Hamilton, he comes around a corner too wide and Lewis Hamilton takes the inside and clips him. Hamilton spins Albon out. Gasly passes them as they get into this accident. And then Hamilton, who got slowed down by the collision, starts to catch up. So now we're in the final lap of the race. And Max Verstappen, who was not slowed down by any of this stuff, wins. He's way ahead now at this point and wins.
Oh, man.
So the race finishes. It's this crazy thing where Pierre Gasly, as a guy who's never podiumed before, racing for Toro Rosso, who is Red Bull's training squad, is trying to hold off Lewis Hamilton, who's the number 1 driver in the world in the Mercedes, and they're just dogfighting the whole way.
Oh my!
And it ends with a side-by-side drag race to the final. But
I want to see this now.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Because Hamilton clipped Albon's car, it damaged the front of it. And so he couldn't get enough speed. Gasly holds him off, finishes second. Hamilton finishes third. My man Carlos Sainz finishes 4th.
Wow.
So Gasly's freaking out because he finally got a podium.
Yeah.
Formula One racers race their entire careers, and some of them don't get podium finishes. Okay,
Wow.
it's just it's the reality of the way the sport works now.
Yeah.
If you don't race for Ferrari, Red Bull, or Mercedes, it's tough to find a podium. But because this miraculous thing happened where we had one Mercedes car fail,
Yeah.
and both Ferraris kill themselves,
Right. Suicide.
this is what happened.
I just pulled all these guys up and I'm putting faces with names. This is
Okay.
intense.
So it's not over yet, though, Peter.
Oh, shit.
The race finishes. You get the champagne. You've got Hamilton's up there in third. Gasly's in second. Max is in first. Champagne. All the teams are up there. They're cheering. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fantastic. But there's this thing that happened where Lewis Hamilton put that hit on Albon. And there was like, was that a legal hit? Like, did he have the right to hit him? And the racing commission decided it wasn't a legal hit, and he got penalized after the race was done.
No way.
Yeah. Because of his penalty, my man Carlos Sainz finishes in third place because that dropped Hamilton all the way down to sixth place.
Oh, my God.
And my man Carlos finished third for his first time in his career
Yeah.
racing for McLaren. Now, this is McLaren's first podium finish since 2014.
Wow.
That's how long it's been
Wow.
since a McLaren has finished in the top 3 in an F1 race. Just think about that. Craziness, right? Now, also think about this. It's your first race podium. Now, like I said, some drivers race their entire careers, don't ever find a podium. And he had to do it way after the fact.
Yeah.
He didn't get the chance to go up in the stands in front of everybody for his first one. If it's your third or your fourth, fine. It's after the fact. It's whatever. So he had some celebration way later in the day with his crew and whatever.
Right.
But could you imagine you finally have done enough? Formula One, there's 20 drivers in the entire world that can say they're Formula One drivers.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because now I'm getting angry.
Yeah.
I was extremely inspired and like into the story. And then I started pulling up these guys, right? Your boy Sainz.
My man.
Was born in 94.
Yeah.
How do you become a Formula One racer?
Well, his dad was in racing. And so he just, you remember how you were talking about how your mom and dad with the poor decision making?
Yes.
Well, turns out if you push your child to be a race car driver from when they're young, they turn out to be pretty good at it.
This guy is 6 years younger than I am.
And he's awfully good looking, if I do say so myself.
I can't even do math.
Don't think about that, Pete.
No,
don't think about it.
I'm fucking crying.
Listen,
now.
don't think
I'm
about
so
it.
Crying.
Just understand that, like, just think about that.
He's 10 years younger than me, and he's racing Formula One.
Yeah. That's okay.
And winning.
And winning. Well, it was a technicality, but still won, my man.
There's an asterisk. There's an asterisk. But
my man.
Wow. And he's got a full head of hair, that bastard.
So that's Formula One, and
I'm gonna have to check that out.
You have to go watch it.
I've
Drive
never
to
been a
Survive. It's on
Formula One,
Netflix. There's lots of arguments to what's bad about Formula One, about how there's dominance, really just unrivaled dominance between the top three companies.
That's not their fault, though. They make a superior product. Like,
right.
Why is that?
No, and that's why there's not a lot to say there.
If
but
there was
it's
dominance
just
because they were cheating, like that's a different thing. But
well, Ferrari got caught putting improper fuel in one of their cars in the last race. So, you don't know how much cheating there really is.
Wow.
That's just the way it is.
Wow.
But it was a super exciting race. It's also tough, Formula One, because it's all over the world. Each race is in a different country.
Yep.
They're always on Sundays, but sometimes they're at 7 a.m. Sometimes they're, in the afternoon, depending on where you live. So it can be tough to follow. But when you take something like that and there's 20 people that can say they're Formula One drivers on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
There's more than 20 people on a football roster of one team. And there's only 20 people in the world that can say that they're F1 drivers.
So it shouldn't feel bad is what you're saying.
Don't feel bad.
Don't feel bad.
Don't feel bad.
Okay.
But be interested.
Yeah.
I feel like it has the potential to be good. I've watched more F1 this year than I have in other years, mainly because of the Netflix show, and I know they're coming out with a season 2.
Are they?
And I can't wait to see what they do with this race.
Yeah.
In season 2, it's gonna be really good.
Wow! Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Now I have something new to look at. Well, Rob, I think that's the end of another episode.
That's it.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
If you like what you heard, you want to hear more, you want to know more, follow us. Rob, what are our platforms?
You can give us a follow on Instagram at Joyride Pod. You can check our website out. It's joyridepod.com.
Rob, what if they have a question?
Funny you should ask that, Pete. If you guys have a question or a disagreement, or you just want to reach out, say hey, send us an email at contactjoyridepod@gmail.com.
Perfect. Well, special thanks again to our episode sponsor, High Bank Distillery. Please follow them. Go to their website, highbankco.com. Until next time, enjoy the ride.
You have to take to a trash compactor and you have to crush it in front of yourself and destroy it, and then you get to hang a picture of that car up on the wall in your garage. So you have a big picture, so you remember the car that you had to crush.
Oh my God! Oh no way!
Yeah. So that's how that's gonna go.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.